let's set up a add function to our admin view here. So if you scroll to the top where in your admin.view you have a form, and we're going to attach a submit to this. So add submit, which is sort of like a click function, but they work inside a form instead. We're also going to attach a prevent here, which means that the system or the browser will not reload whenever you click this button. So if you remove the prevent whenever you click submit, it will just refresh the page, which is not ideal. We're going to call it product. We're going to call this add product as function. So this will be marked as red because we haven't created it yet, but that's all right. And we're going to go down to line, I don't know, 80, 90. And here we're going to do add product as well. And again, this will be blue because we haven't actually created the function yet, but that's all right for now. If there's an error, we'll fix it. So this will be the name of our function. Destructuring in and then calling on top. Go back to your use products.ts, find where you have your delete products and go above it. And here we're going to create our constant of add product. And I'm going to call this off here, and for now we're going to just remove this because I don't think we need this right now, but maybe later. And inside this one we're going to create the structure. So first of all we'll have our try and we'll have our catch later. So inside our try block we need to create a few things. First of all we need access to a token as before when we delete, right? The same as this one down here. But in our interface, we have access to the user. So this one down here. So we can actually track whose user is creating what. And we're going to create a user or a const called userId, local storage, get item, and this will be called userId token. So whenever you get when we get a little further in, we can actually, when a user creates a product, their IDs will be attached to the product using refs in the backend. That's pretty smart instead of populating the database. So these first two things is important, and then we'll do our if statements. If token is not there, stop it immediately. If it doesn't want to help me with that one. If user ID is not there, stop it immediately. So separate those. For those you could put them in here, but so you do a double @ sign, but that's up to you. This is just more separated. After this one, we need to have our response as before. So const response equal await, and end this one over here. I will do that one as well, so I forget, remember. And I forgot to close a tag somewhere, but we'll fix it later. So response is again us doing a fetch here, right? So to the online API on render, or if you have your local one, that's you have to change it, of course. .com/API.products, and we need to use the object here, and then we will give the methods we're going to use. We're going to post because we want to send information, just like when we do a login where we send user email and user passwords, or when we created also name. We have the headers, and they will be the content type application /JSON. We have our token for the making sure that it is the correct user. And then for the next part is we are going to use, if I just write these out first. So what is this error? Oh, it's because of the catch, but we'll do that after. So inside the next part, again, this is still inside this this object here that we send along, so the payload basically. We're posting the headers for information and then the body tag. So if you're using Postman or Thunder Client, you can actually click this and see when you send information through. That's usually you click the body to see the data you're actually sending along. And then we have this. Again, we did this the other one as well. So we take the JavaScript or TypeScript object, which is a little bit different from a JSON object, but here we just convert it into JSON objects if we have it. So now I can actually write standard JavaScript objects and it will do it for me. So to make this easier for us, for starters, is we're going to just, every time we create a product, it will be the same. And then we will, of course, update this later on. So new product from front end. So we can see that it's from the front end. That's great. Something description, and we have a link to a image. I'm gonna copy this one up here. So it's the same as we have in the other one, which is like pick some photos, 500 times 500. We're gonna give it a price of 2, and we're going to go like, I don't know, 45, discount, true. We can just change this a little bit around. It's not really necessary. Let's keep it at 0. It's hidden, false. And here, this is not user ID. If we go to Swagger, I think it's still open, you can see there's something called underscore created by. And this is when I mentioned the user information we have, right? So this is the user's ID. I think maybe they change. Oh no, I don't have the if I update it again, let's see if the one is from me is here. No, it's the same. But this is the user that we want to, oh, here we go, we can see it's a different one. So product made by somebody else is a different user. So you see it ends with 4B, and this is 4B, and this one down here was 13. So Søren attached the user information, the user ID, to the product created. So if you wanted to create a backend where you can actually see, like, track the which product has this user bought and so on, we can actually use this. So in this case, this is created by, but you can do the same if you're doing a card, right? So tracking which user did what. But this is called created by and not user ID. So we need to change this to underscore created by. And here we use the ID. So the user ID is what comes from up here, which is attached to it when we log in and so on. So we get that information whenever we log in. We get an object of many things, and one of them is the information about the user. Good. So after this, we do our if, again, to check if there's no response. If this doesn't happen, if this fails for any reason, just stop immediately, do nothing more. There's no point of going to the next step if that doesn't happen. And we can also do a console here. No, we can't. We can do a const, and we'll do an error response. Response, and we'll set this to await, and then get the information, so we can get a little bit more specific error handling here if we have it. And instead of just doing a throw error of this one here, this will always be this. So this is not particularly super awesome, but now we can pass through the error response dot error, and we can do pipes here. So if there's no error response, a specific error, like authentication token or whatever, it will just print out no data available. But if we have a very specific error, we can actually print it out like this, which is pretty neat. Good. Next one is our new product. So we need to use the product, the interface from up here, right? So we have the correct structure when we need to pass along the data. So it follows this the structure we already created. I'm going to call the constant new product. It is using the schema, or not the schema, the type of product. Again, as before, nothing new. And we're going to go to products.value, and we're pushing the product we just created into the array. And let's do a console log and product edit and new product, so we can track it to see if we actually did everything correctly. Now, once this is done, because we're using Mongo, which has its, I don't want to call it limitations, but it is not completely what you would call a real-time database like Firebase and things like this. It doesn't actually automatically sends back information that a data has been changed, so you need to re-render your front end. So you have to create a new HTTP request to Mongo to get the latest version or the latest snapshot of it. I think it's called snapshot in Firebase. So we have to do a await here and fetch product again. So basically invoke this function. Oh, it's not here, but it's somewhere. So we invoke fetch product, so we get the latest version of this system here. After the await, we can finally do our catch. We have an error, catch, and we end it. Good. So save this, and let's go check it in the front end to see if we have an error up here, which is because I did not actually go down here. I did actually send it out, or oops, not created by add product. I did not actually send it out of the system, so I wouldn't be able to use it. Good. Quickly go to your browser, refresh it, and over here we have this. So if you click create, it should start popping up with you have your product created. You can expand it to see. So those are the static things we did. And here we have the array. So you can see bottom here we have new product, and it should be shown down here. So now we have this system set up for the product, and that is just great.